Aloha! I am here because I want to show you guys one of my favorite recipes. This is, I would consider it like a beef broccoli stew. Beef broccoli with rice, but there's no beef and it's all really great ingredients. So the secret to this is mushrooms and the sauce. Everything else can kind of be, swapped out. Today, I'm not using any broccoli, I'm using zucchini, and I'm using mushroom. This is actually my favorite combination, but use broccoli if you have it. You can use whatever else. So I've chopped up roughly, this is about a half to a whole container of the baby portobello mushrooms. I have some ali'i mushrooms that I like. You can use any other kind of mushrooms in there, or just the portobello, whatever you have. You can use just the white mushrooms. I have one whole zucchini that I roughly chopped, and 3 cloves of garlic. So I have my skillet here. I'm just going to put in some olive oil, and then I'm going to add my garlic. All right. So you just kind of get the garlic in the oil. You just want the garlic to sweat a little in the oil, bring out the aroma. So while that's cooking, I'm just going to show you quickly how I rough chop. So I just take one of these baby portobello mushrooms, I just cut in half, cut in half, cut in half. And then I just take a whole zucchini, I cut off the ends, cut it in half, and then I cut in half long ways, cut in half long ways, and then rough chop. And you can cut how you want, but this is just how I like it, kind of chunky in this recipe. And then these mushrooms, I just cut off the ends, and then I just kind of do just some long chops. Chopped again. And that's it. So now the garlic, you don't want it to get brown. I have this on medium, by the way, so you can do this in a wok, a skillet, on the stove top. I like to use this pan, and then you're literally just going to throw everything in here and let it saute. Oops. And I have everything on medium, and let it cook. And if you want a little more zucchini, use 2 zucchinis. If you want more broccoli or more mushroom, you can add more mushrooms. And then I like to use tongs. And you want to kind of get it coated with the oil and the garlic. Move it around. Okay. Oh, I gotta grab my lid. Hang on. And I put a lid on top, and that kind of helps it cook a little quicker. So, like I said, this is beef broccoli with no beef. So this is wonderful because if you think about it, it's good for the environment, good for your health. My husband loves this recipe because it tastes like a beef recipe, almost like he likes to think of it as like that beef top ramen, or that, beef broccoli, Chinese food type flavor. But this is completely healthy. So this is great. You can make, as you can see, you can make a batch. We use it for leftovers. It heats up really well the next day. It's great fresh, but the next day, tastes just as good, if not better. So super easy. It's also a great recipe if you're having someone over or bringing it somewhere else for a potluck or something like that. It tastes like it took a lot of work to make and kind of exotic, but it's super healthy. And, you know, and the other nice thing is you can switch around the ingredients. So I'm using zucchini and mushroom today, but if you have broccoli or cauliflower, bok choy is really good in this as well. You can switch it up in whatever you have in your fridge. So again, this is going to cook, and while that's cooking, I'm going to make the sauce. So now the sauce uses this Bragg, this liquid aminos, and the nice thing is the Bragg has no gluten in it. So this is a gluten-free soy sauce tasting sauce that goes on top. So it's a half cup of the liquid aminos, and then let me give this a quick stir as these are cooking. Okay, so what we're going to do, let me get my ingredients here. So what we're going to do, I've got half a cup of the liquid aminos in here, and we're just going to add some splashes of stuff. So I'm going to put a little splash of water. And the water thins it out. You can put as little or as much as you want. The more it thins out, the less salty it gets because there is sodium in the liquid aminos. So if you want a more concentrated sauce, just put a little splash. I like to add a little extra water. And then I add a little bit of olive oil. And I'm not measuring anything. I'm just sort of putting splashes in there. Apple cider vinegar. Make sure you shake it up because it settles at the bottom. Again, just a splash. No measuring, just a little splash. I like to add sesame oil just because, again, it adds to that Chinese sauce flavor. If you don't have it, no need to put it in. You can just stick with olive oil. So again, let's put a little bit of that. And then black pepper. So this, again, is sort of a Chinese sauce. So you're going to put about a teaspoon to tablespoon, depending how peppery of a bite you want. So again, I don't really measure. I just sort of eyeball it. I'm starting to smell the pepper. That's good. And then ginger, you can add ginger to this. Some people don't like ginger. Again, I think the ginger goes really well with the pepper and that Chinese beef broccoli kind of flavor. I just ran out of my fresh ginger, but I'll show you what you do if you do have fresh ginger, or you want to use fresh ginger, is you cut off the outside part and use about, like an inch worth, or however much you like. You can use as much or as little as you like, but about an inch. And then take this small cheese grater and you can just rub it against, and all the fibers will stay on top, and then you can just scoop up the ginger and put it in. But I don't have any right now. I just ran out. So I have this ginger juice that I use in a pinch. So I'm just going to use a tablespoon because I like the ginger taste. So, oops. All right. Now the last ingredient for this sauce, and this is what makes it kind of magic, is the potato starch. So you can use potato starch or cornstarch. Again, both of them are gluten-free and instead of flour. And what it does is it thickens the sauce, so it makes like a roux. And when you pour it over the warm vegetables, it creates this thick, sort of silky sauce that has a lot of umami and tastes really, really good. But you have to put it in at the very last minute before you put it on the vegetables. So what I do is while my vegetables are cooking, I kind of get this sauce together and then this just right next to it. So let's check the vegetables. All right, so they're getting about ready. And again, make the vegetables how you like. I like them just a little undercooked because I don't want my vegetables wilty. So that looks like they're almost ready. So what I do is I take a fork, and again, I'm not a big measurer, but it's about a teaspoon, tablespoon that I use of this. So about that much. And then what you're going to do is you're going to whisk it. Get the little lumps out and whisk it together. Okay, good. I know, it looks good, doesn't it, Rocky? All right. Now what's going to happen is this is going to get poured over the vegetables. Okay, and this is where the magic starts to happen. So you can see it's like watery, like a regular watery sauce if you were to cook. I'm going to kind of mix it around so everything gets coated. Get everything over those vegetables. All right, and then it's going to start to thicken. All right. And you can put this on a simmer and just sort of let the thickening process happen. Coat all those vegetables. You see how you get a nice little glisten on the vegetables. And then what I do is I like to put this on rice. So as that's thickening up, I've got my bowl of rice. So you can see how now what used to be sort of a liquid, see how it's getting thicker. That sauce is thickening and not so liquidy, and coating the vegetables. And then what you can do is pour it over the rice, get some vegetables. And you can get some of the sauce. See how the sauce is nice and thick? I know, Rocky. You can see how it coats on the spoon. It's thick. And there you go. Wonderful beef broccoli with no beef, and healthy and gluten-free, and I think the family will love it. And you can use up what you have in the fridge. So let me know what you think if you try it or if you have questions. All right, mahalo.